Amanda from Pontes Books, here with the vocabulary focus for Chapter 10 of The Prince and the Pauper. Today's word that we are focusing on is course. So like many of our vocabulary words that we focus on, course has many different possible meanings, some of which come up in The Prince and the Pauper, and some of which don't. So we'll be focusing on kind of one in particular, and a couple other ones that come up in The Prince of the Pauper as well. But as you can see by the picture, here we have a course, which is kind of like a path that's leading through. That's the main definition we're focusing on today. So, like I said, as our definition, we have the act or the action of moving in a path from point to point. So course as a noun is a path, essentially. So it can be both literal or metaphorical. So it can be an actual physical path that you're following, or it can be kind of the decisions that you're making toward a certain goal, could also be described as a course. Some examples, these are all examples of physical courses: a race course, a golf course, a pathway. So all of them have kind of a starting point and an ending point. So that's a good way of thinking about a course, starting and ending. Either literal or, like I said, kind of more metaphorical. So some non-examples would be just disorganization or a stoppage or blockage. A path continues its way through. Obviously, there can be obstacles, but that is a different meaning than the path itself or the course. When we look at the etymology of this word, one of the languages it can be traced back to is Latin. So cursus. A running, a journey, direction, track, navigated by a ship, flow of a stream. So you can see the connection there, that really it's still talking about things that follow a certain path. And then also Latin curse is the past participle stem of currere, not sure on the pronunciation, meaning to run. It can also be traced back to Old French, course, which can mean course, quite literally. Run, running, flow of a river. So a lot of times we see this term run being in there as well, and also reference to water. Some sentences using this word. The race course was marked with ribbons tied around the trees. Pretty straightforward. The race course, the race pathway, the race track to follow. The sentence where we actually see this in The Prince and the Pauper is, therefore, there was but one course to pursue: find his way to the Guildhall, make himself known, and denounce the impostor. So in this case, it's like a course of action, a path, a plan is really how it's being used in this sentence. So it still follows that meaning of path, but in this case, it's not talking about necessarily the physical path. Although he will be walking to get there, so he could have mapped out a physical path. But this one, it's being more used figuratively. And then some other forms. This comes up quite a bit in the book, of course, okay, which together that phrase is used as an adverb typically. And then also courses as like the plural form, and course, to course, having something coursing through your veins, I guess is how I usually hear it, as a verb. And then again, not a lot just from the word course itself. So I dug into one of the specific types of courses just to look at where did the idea for obstacle courses come from, because why not? So like many things that have to do with kind of physical fitness, it actually started, and for the vast majority of time had to do with the military, the goal being to build better soldiers. So that can date all the way back to antiquity, ancient Rome, way back to ancient times. But the intentional fitness picked up popularity in Europe in the 19th century, again related to soldiers and wars. And at the turn of the 19th century, or turn of the 20th century, end of the 19th century, this French man, Georges Herbert, no idea, developed something that he called un parcours. And if you think about modern day parkour, I think the connection is definitely there. And so those were kind of early obstacle courses that he used to train the French Navy to become stronger. And then all throughout, World War I, World War II, these obstacle courses became a primary means of training. And then only recently did it move kind of into just a competitive sport just by itself. So apparently the real start of that was kind of like the steeplechase, which is a track and field event where you have to leap over hurdles, and there's this like water pit thing that you have to go through. So steeplechase was kind of the first competitive event revolving around obstacle courses. And then now, obviously, there's all these intentional obstacle courses that you do, like Tough Mudder and things like that have all kind of stemmed from this original idea. So I found that interesting. Hopefully you learned something. Have a good rest of your day.